on the Aurora Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I just got my hands on this. It actually, I think, wasn't supposed to be released in Canada until later in the month, but it was released on Sephora, Macy's, Nordstrom's, all the other retailers yesterday, which was June 13th. So even though this wasn't supposed to be released, I believe, until later in the month, it was in my local Sephora. So of course I grabbed it. Now, Anastasia Glow Kits are my favorite. I own the Gleam one and the Nicolebbbb one, and I absolutely love them. I usually reach for them if I'm going to reach for any highlighter, and they also work really well on fair skin. They actually make it look like a highlight. If I want to make a super intense highlight, I can do that. If I want it to be a little bit more subdued, I can do that. Now, this palette is different than any of the other palettes aside from the Moonchild palette. But Moonchild, I don't know if it's going to be released in other retailers. I'm not probably going to get it because you do have to order it from the Anastasia website, and it's in American dollars, and then shipping, I believe, is $20 extra. So it just makes it too expensive. But I'm happy I grabbed this because it definitely has a similar vibe to the Moonchild palette, but this definitely has also some really unique shades that you wouldn't find in any other palette. For price, in Canada this is $52, and I believe in America this is $40. Our Canadian dollar is horrible right now, so everything is way more expensive. If this were $40, I mean, I think that's pretty good. In Canada, I think like one Becca highlighter is a little over $40 or $50, so you're getting 6 different shades in this palette. So if we're comparing it in Canada, I think that's a really good deal, but obviously in the States, I think $40 is a little bit more affordable than $52. So obviously what's most important is what's in the palette and the powders themselves, but just quickly, the packaging is really nice. I like the ombre. If you look at it in different lights, so it's probably not coming off on camera, it does have an iridescent glow, the purple part of the palette, and then the Aurora writing, and then it has just a slip on top. So once you open the actual palette, you can definitely see that it is unique. It's not your everyday run-of-the-mill highlighting shades, but that's why I wanted to pick it up. What I did like about it was that these 2 shades are lighter, and with any palette, you're going to get shades that are just not going to work on your skin tone, whether you're very fair or you're on the deeper side of skin tones. So what's good about having lighter shades is that you can always mix it with the darker shades and custom make a color that really works with your skin tone. And also, when there are darker shades in a palette, that means you could just use it as an eyeshadow, which is definitely what I want to do today. I didn't put anything on my lid aside from just a matte shade all around. So I'm definitely going to try it on my face, and then I'm also going to do it on the eyes and see how this palette works out. So for my makeup, today's look is obviously a little bit brighter, but because I have the blue on the lips, I'm thinking I wanted to use the shade Orion on the eyes. I obviously won't be able to try out every single shade, but I just wanted to do a really quick video of a true first impressions for anyone who is interested in it. So I'm just going to take a flat shading brush. This is a NYX number 14, and I'm going to dip into the blue highlighting shade Orion. I'll give a quick finger swatch. You initially dip into the product, it's very soft, has like a velvet kind of texture to it. And then, excuse the back of my hand, I was mixing this color that I have on my lips, so it's a little purple right now, but it looks really pretty. I actually like that it's not too blue. It has more of a icy undertone, which is perfect for my skin tone. Maybe if you're someone who is more warm undertone, you'd want to lean towards Lyra, which is like the orange shade, but definitely on cooler skin tones it's gonna be beautiful. So like I said, I'm just gonna pick up the product on this brush, and I'm not gonna wet it. I might wet it just to make it a little bit more intense in the eye, but we'll see. Oh yeah, the shade is definitely intense. I think in my viewfinder it's even looking intense, and that was just a really small amount. I'm just gonna grab a mirror so it's closer up so I can see better. So I'm just gonna take some MAC Fix Plus and spray at my brush. Gonna make sure that's not too wet. And I'm just gonna dip into the color again and see if it intensifies it anymore. So I think it really brightened the inner corners without looking crazy. It has a really pretty icy blue undertone, like I said before. So I think it's pretty complimentary to my skin, but it's definitely unique. The Fix Plus did intensify it, and it's also easy to blend out. So I'm very happy with it. Now I'm just going to take this shade Luna, which is the very icy kind of white shade, and I'm just going to put this underneath my brow bone. I really like this shade. I'm really pulled towards silver undertones for highlighters, and I hate when they're sparkly. Like, I absolutely hate when they're sparkly. And so far, if you look at the palette itself, it looks like there might be little sparkles in there, but it definitely does not come off on the skin. So it is very velvety, very creamy. And so far, I mean, I'm going to try it on my cheekbones. We'll see how it looks there. But so far, the eyes, I'm really happy with it. So the shade is actually really pretty. I just quickly swatched it on my hand. And it kind of reminds me of the shade Cosmopolitan from Makeup Geek. So has that peachy undertone, but the actual shine to it is more of like a pink. I don't know if that makes sense, but it is pretty unique. So for my highlighter, I'm just going to keep with the blue. I'm going to go into Orion, and I'll just intensify it with Luna, which is the icy shade. I'm honestly so impressed because this shade in the palette looks so blue, but when you put it on the skin, it definitely has that blue undertone, but it's wearable. And it's also hard, definitely on my skin tone, to find a more crazy color highlighter that's wearable, but I definitely think it's that icy undertone that's really helping that. And like I said, on the skin there isn't any shimmer, which is amazing. It just is a really pretty glow. So just to see how the product layers and to intensify a little more, I'm going into this shade Luna with a really small, or just a normal size eyeshadow blending brush. And to use this type of brush, it just makes it really precise so that you can really pinpoint that highest point of the cheekbone and make your cheekbone pop. What I liked about the Nicolebbbb was that it was a little bit different. I'm just tapping on top just to make sure that it's blended out on my cheek. That is a little different than the Gleam Glow Kit. I think they were a little bit more intense. Definitely the formula is slightly different. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but it's definitely an improvement. So it is a good thing that's a little bit different. But the Gleam Glow Kit is still awesome. It's just discontinued anyways. I think it was only a limited edition thing, so it's awesome that they're improving their newer palettes. So I'm just going to take a really small blending brush, take Luna and pinpoint my nose just to highlight it. So that was very quick and I didn't get to try all the colors, but I definitely will be using this in future videos if you are interested in seeing how the colors pay off on fair skin. I know it's hard to know how a highlighter is going to look on any skin tone, even if you're the lightest to the middle to the deepest of the skin tones. It's just hard to know. I like making these type of videos because as a consumer myself, I search for these type of videos to see what a highlighter would look like before I purchase it on someone who is in a similar skin tone as myself. If you have the Nicolebbbb Kit and you're not someone who would use the more fun colors on your cheekbones or on your eyelids, then you obviously really don't need it. But if you are someone who likes to play with color or you just want to do something different with your highlighter, then this is definitely a great purchase. Before you leave, I just want to remind you to follow me on Instagram. I have 2 accounts. One is Angel and Versace, and then the second is Alexi Artistry, which is designated for makeup. I would do 3 posts per look just to give some different viewpoints of the look and just so you can see it from different angles, and also it just looks better on my feed if I do it that way. And finally, if you did like this video, I would love if you could like, subscribe, and comment down below.